Hi, let's be friends. Okay. But real friends, not the kind of friends that you don't really know why you're friends with. You're just the people you hang out with and it's kind of mindless. I'm talking about true friendship, the people that push you to grow, that tell you the truth, even though it's uncomfortable, and that stay in your corner no matter what you go through. This is the type of person that I want to be. This is the type of friend I want to be with you. And even though we're not in the same room right now, I want this channel to feel like that. I want this channel to feel like we have this connection. But I know that real friendship can be really hard because there's some sort of investment that you need to make. And the investment usually is vulnerability, honesty, being real with each other. Let people see you as who you really are. So this is my challenge right now. I'm trying to be that person. I'm trying to strip myself raw. Usually I make YouTube videos that are based on a topic that are meant to help you grow. And yeah, I will put some personal insights here and there, but I really don't want it to be about me. But I have a private community on School. And if you want to check it out, it's the first link in my description. It's free. And on there, we are really tight because we all care about the same thing, growing. And even better, we want to grow together. And on this community, I ask them, that my loyal people, to ask me anything, to do a little Q&A. So I'm here on YouTube now, and I'm going to answer those questions. And to be very honest with you, I really don't like doing these types of videos. I don't really like to make the focus on me, but I try to tell myself that me answering those questions is really for you, because I sometimes have no idea how much the way I think or my experiences or just who I am is helpful to other people. My story can help you heal, can help you see things differently, can help you feel more connected. So I'm going to sacrifice myself by exposing myself more so that we can create this genuine connection. I've broken down these questions into 4 different categories. The first one is personal identity and fun. Then we'll go into mindset and growth. We'll follow up with habits and motivation. And we'll end up with community and purpose. So let's get into it. I can already tell this is going to be a long video, so I'm going to try to go as fast as possible in the questions that really don't need that much explanation. So this section, because it's more fun, it's going to be a little bit more rapid fire style, but knowing me, it's still going to extrapolate and I'm going to give you more details than you asked for. So sorry about that. But the first question I was asked was, what's something unique about you that most people don't know? So my answer is, I grew up on a farm. A lot of people, when I say that, are very surprised by it. They're intrigued by it. They want to know more about it. But to me, it's super normal because that was my reality. But I grew up on a farm in a small town. We called it a village in Saint-Félix-de-Valois, which is a French town in Canada. And I grew up with all the animals: pigs, cows, sheep, horses, chickens, you name it. And to this day, my dad is still a farmer. He has a 35,000 chicken farm and 200 acres of land. So that is my background. I was a country girl. And when I was younger, I was a little bit embarrassed by that because I knew it was very unique and strange, and I didn't want people to judge me through that. I was scared that people would think I'm poor or like less of value because it was just so different. It wasn't a suburb. But today I am so happy that I grew up like that. I feel so lucky that I got to grow up in that environment. If your friends described you in 3 words, what would they say? So when I got those questions, I started to pay a little bit more attention of what people would say about me. And here are the 3 words that I came up with. Number 1, witty. I've heard that so many times. And I know you probably don't think that I'm funny, but a lot of people think I'm funny, okay? I promise you, I make people laugh. But I think the way that I make people laugh is usually by being very brutally honest and unfiltered. And a little bit like pushing the limit about what's acceptable to say, if that makes sense. I have a very dark humor. But also, witty is more accurate. I've heard that many times because a lot of times it's kind of thinking outside of the box. I'm not going to be someone that's going to crack a joke. Like I have a joke to say. It's really like on the spot, thinking outside of the box. The second word that I've heard so many times is that I am motivational. Basically, when I speak to people, oftentimes how they feel is motivation right after. They feel like they can do anything. They want to attack their goals. They want to get after it. And I love giving that feelings to people. But now the next step is like, okay, how can I make them motivated and also take action? Because motivation is nothing if you don't act upon it. So this is kind of like the next step into my growth, how I can help people support them better into their journey. But at least I give them that feeling that they have the confidence they can achieve anything. And then the third thing that I get told all the time is that I'm very profound. The way that I think about things is very deep. I'm the type of friend where when people come to me is because they want to know my perspective. They want to know how I think because they know that I won't sugarcoat it, but I will also really try to help them. I will think very deeply, empathetically about their situation and really go about it logically where something will make sense, but also have that emotional aspect where I have compassion for them. What's your biggest pet peeve? This one is so easy because I travel so much on the airplane. It's the people that don't wait for their turn when we land to get off the plane. Like, you know how we're on the plane and it's like row after row where we have to get out, and those people in the back, they just start cutting, not because they're later trying to catch another plane. They literally think that they're just entitled and that they should get off first. It bugs me so much, and this is where I like try to practice my wisdom, my patience, my cool, calm, and collected self, you know? I hate that. So yeah, that is my pet peeve. This one is very simple question, beach or mountains? I always used to say mountains. I still think that's my answer, but I've learned to appreciate the beach a little bit more lately. And I think it's because being in dry heat right now, I live in Utah, I realize that heat is not miserable. It's the humidity that sucks. So as long as it's not humid, I'm really content with my life. I don't care if it's hot. I used to think I didn't like beaches because it's too hot, but no, it's the humidity. So it's a very tough balance. I love nature in general. I would still go with mountains, but beaches have my heart as well. Favorite book, TV show, and meal. My favorite book is probably, that's really hard to choose, but I would say The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I don't know how to say his name. But the reason why I picked that as my favorite book is because when you read a book and you still apply what you've learned from the book, it still has an impact on your life years later. I'm like, it has to be your favorite book. So just to summarize real quick, the four agreements are: be impeccable with your word, do not take anything personally, do not make assumptions, and always do your best. And I swear, I still try to live by those principles every single day. It always comes back into my mind when I'm going through difficult situations. So it has to be my favorite book. Now, my favorite TV show, as you know, if you know me, I don't really watch TV. I don't have subscriptions and stuff. But a few years ago, I watched Game of Thrones, and to me, that was the best show ever. And then my favorite meal, that one is also really hard because I just love food. I love good food. I love ramen. I love sushi, hamburgers, tacos, acai bowls, smoothies, chocolate, cookies, donuts. I love everything. But when I started thinking deeper, I'm like, okay, what's something that is kind of like a comfort food for me that I'm like, okay, I really want to eat this? It's this French dish called pâté chinois. It's basically a shepherd's pie, but it's the Quebec version. I'll try to put a picture here so you can see what it looks like. It's basically mashed potatoes, ground beef, and corn. It's so good. And I know it sounds funny, but you put this with ketchup, and it's so delicious. So when I go home, my dad always makes sure that he makes it for me. Celebrity or inspirational figure that you'd love to meet. I had to sit a little bit with this one, and I'm going to go with Andrew Huberman. So I discovered Andrew Huberman in 2021, I believe. It was on Rich Roll podcast. That's when I started listening to podcasts more. I was out of college and everything, and I was hooked ever since. To the point where I actually went to one of his shows where he just talked. Like, it's weird to go to a show that's not like entertainment in terms of a spectacle or music or circus or anything like that. He was just there to just talk, and that was new for me, and I loved it. I wish I could actually meet him one-on-one because I think it's so awesome to see someone just so good at what they do and not have like this different agenda to influence others or try to make money. Like, he just seems like a very genuine guy that wants to spread science for everyone. So if you don't know who Andrew Huberman and you're on a self-improvement journey, I think you need to check him out. What's a place you'd love to visit? Japan. I would love to go to Japan. It's so polar opposite from America. It's the Eastern culture. What I love about it is because when I started my self-improvement journey, I was really into the philosophies of Eastern medicine and Eastern thinking in general. I think Japan has a good mix of discipline and mastery mixed with patience and meditation, which is a really good balance that feels fulfilling. So not only would I like to visit Japan as a beautiful place, but the culture behind it is what really is attractive to me. When you're not an athlete or a public figure, who are you? I shouldn't have probably put this in this section because this is not a simple question that could be a rapid fire. And it's a very deep question. But if I were to put it as simple as possible, ultimately deep down, I believe I am a child of God. I think that is my bare identity. Outside of all ego, outside of all titles and roles I attach to myself, I am a child of God. And everything I do, despite whatever happens in my life, has to reflect that. That's the thing that gives me the most peace. So yeah, practically, what does it look like? I mean, I am a child of God all the time, 24/7, but you have to work into this game of life where I will go to training and I will be a soccer player. I will come home and I will film YouTube videos and I will be a YouTuber. But what's driving me behind that is my higher purpose, to really grow closer to him, to act Christ-like, to be a good person. So deep down, I am trying to cultivate myself to be more like him. I will never be like that, but the pursuit is what matters. Trying to do the habits that honors God is the best thing I can do. So yeah, that's who I am. And the final question here is, what's the story behind wearing number 53? So if you don't know me at all, I'm a professional soccer player. My name is Bianca St. George. I probably should have mentioned that. And on my jersey, I have number 53. My whole career, I was number 22, 23, like it kind of changed. But this year I was able to choose something new and I chose 53. And a lot of people are asking me, why did you choose that? It's going to be very underwhelming for you, but I was like, hey, ChatGPT, can you give me a random number that really has no association with anything? And they were like, well, number 53 is like a prime number, but it has nothing really special to it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this number special. So that's why I'm wearing number 53. Now that we're all warmed up, let's go into the second section of mindset and growth. The first question is, what quality about yourself do you love most? And this one was really easy for me to answer because I remind myself often when I pray that I'm grateful for this. I love my ability to learn. I love that I can go through life, fail, make mistakes, and grow from it because I trained my brain to learn from life. It's so easy to fall into the victimhood, to want to blame others, to feel like you're powerless. But although it can give you temporarily comfort, it doesn't really feel peaceful in the long term because you're just kind of letting life get at you. But because I take full accountability of my life, I realize that anything bad that happens in my life can be a new opportunity, can be redirection because I can learn from it. And when you learn, you win. So I never fear life because I know that my attitude towards it is what determines the quality of it. How do you rest and recharge? This question was really hard for me to answer because that's been a battle for me to understand how I can support myself best with that. When people ask me that question, I assume it's because they are wondering, how do I sustain the energy and the discipline that my lifestyle requires? Because most people imagine that my life is about sprints and recovery, kind of like you work 5 days and then 2 days off on the weekend. But I don't really view rest and recharge that way. The way I see it is very different, and it's because I'm privileged from my job. Being a soccer player means that you are working 24/7 basically, because everything you do off the field impacts your performance on the field. So it's not like I get to train and that's it. How you eat, how you sleep, how you recover, how you treat your body, the activities that you do, the activities for your mind, all impact your performance. So you never really get a break from your job in a way, but you need to have a break and recover. So how do you go about that? For me, resting and recharging is all about my daily practices that prevent burnout altogether. So it's not like I will grind for trainings and then be close to burnout and then be like, okay, I'm going to take 2 days where I do nothing. Because even on off days, I need to find ways to be proactive about resting and recharging. Like I need to still move. I still need to eat healthy. I still need to take care of myself. So to me, resting and recharging is not one moment out of a big period of time. It's the little habits, the details that you do every single day. So for me, I sleep 8 hours every single night. I try to go to the bed at the same time every single night. I hydrate all the time, every day, no matter what. I eat clean every day, no matter what. I make sure that my caffeine intake is properly scheduled. When I feel restless, I have to ask myself, am I tired or am I bored? If I'm bored, it's the time for me to perhaps be self-disciplined, use my willpower to get into the zone and try to go through that period of being uncomfortable before you get into the flow state. But if I'm tired, then I ask myself, what do I need? Do I need a nap? Do I need to go on a walk? Do I need to call a friend? So resting and recharging is deeply personal. It's what fills your cup. But what my main message is, the way I rest and recharge is not me killing myself and going close to burnout and then trying to save myself through a whole day going through, a self-care day. It's being able to sustain my productivity and my progress because I do the little details right every single day. And usually those details are all related to your physical health. If you have your physical health in check, your energy will be much more sustained and stable. You won't go as much in up and downs. What's a simple joy in your daily routine that keeps you grounded? So this one is my new discovery and it's been life-changing. Praying. My journey through faith has been pretty new for me, but it's been something I've been doing for years. Praying has never been a practice for me. But now that it's become something that I do every single day, it really changes everything. It keeps me grounded because it kind of puts myself into a bigger picture and starts removing my self-centeredness away from me. Because I think we're all very much selfish. Like we're kind of broken. We're really thinking about ourselves a lot and our problems and our goals and what we want and me. But when I pray and I say what I'm grateful for and I say what I need and what I want to gain clarity on, and when I just talk to God, I realize that I am actually not in control of everything and I don't have to be. And just accepting that kind of gets a weight off my shoulder. It's like, okay, I can control what I can, but there's a plan for me that I can trust. And having that trust is what keeps me grounded. What's your favorite quote? Okay, I couldn't pick one, but I'll give you 3 of my favorite ones. Number 1 is, the unexamined life is not worth living. And that's by Socrates, I believe. Yeah. To me, this quote is kind of like a wake-up call because if you're not examining your life, if you're not questioning things, if you're not being introspective and challenging your beliefs, your thoughts, your values, your routines, you're kind of like outsourcing your identity and your life outcome to the things around you. You're kind of losing all the power that you have within. Because yes, God has control over your life in a way, like he dictates your fate, but you have a part to play as well. And when you don't examine your life, you're kind of just letting things get in control over your life that you don't intend to be. And I think that's kind of like doing a disservice to the gift that you have, the free will gift that you have. There's so much more in your control that you believe. And a lot of what's in your control is the way that you think. So when you start taking some time for yourself to really analyze and study yourself, you realize that there's a lot of things that you can change. There's a lot of things that kind of hurt to face because you're facing the reality of how you've been acting mindlessly, but that's the only path to growth. You can only grow once you start examining how you behave and how you think. So I love that quote. It's such a reminder for me to keep doing what I'm doing, to keep investing in my self-development, because that's what matters. It's growing, it's evolving as human beings. The second quote is basically taken from the Bible. It's said so many times in there, do not fear, for I am with you. Not being afraid feels amazing. It feels amazing because a lot of our pain comes from fears. A lot of our suffering comes from fears of letting go, fears of facing the truth, of failing, of realizing you're not perfect. There are so many fears that are ruling our life. But once you start trusting God because He is with us, you start to fear less. And when you don't fear, you're able to be bold, you're able to be courageous, you're able to allow yourself to step into your authentic self without the fear of being judged, of losing people, of doing the wrong thing. You're allowing yourself to be you. And I think that is the best gift that you can give to the world, is you becoming yourself. And when you are yourself, you're able to connect with others better. If there's a question, why can you connect so well with me? Why can we connect so well? It's because I am doing my best to be myself. And if I'm being myself, you like that. You want to be like that as well. So you're going to be attracted to me and we're going to connect deeper because we're going to be real with each other. And then the third quote is, I don't know by who actually, but it goes like, hard choices, easy life, easy choices, hard life. Such a good reminder of self-discipline. When you're being disciplined, it's difficult, but that's what creates an easier life, a life with more peace, more joy, more fulfillment, more alignment. But when you do the easy choices like indulge in cheap dopamine, self-sabotaging, being lazy, all that stuff, you're going to have a hard life because you're going to be unhealthy. You're going to be not aligned with your goals. You're going to not push yourself to who you can become. That's hard. A fun fact about me is that I love paradoxes. They're so fun to me. They make me think so much. And this is probably one of my favorite ones. How often does your inner critic show up and how do you handle it? My inner critic to me is my anxiety. And it shows up so often, okay? It will really be like, hey, what's up? I'm here to make you anxious. The way that I combat that is by taking action. When you take action, it quiets the mind. And when I mean action, you have to be specific to the action that aligns with your goals, aligns with the higher version of yourself. I combat my inner critic by thinking about future me. What would they want me to be doing right now? Sit in the corner and just feel bad for myself? Complain? Beat myself up? No, they would want me to take ownership of my life. So you have to be very aware that when it shows up, that you don't have to listen to it and you need to just take action. I promise you, when you do the thing, it quiets. What's a mindset shift that helped you move from pressure to presence? This is something that I deal with all the time because when you're an athlete, you have tons of pressure. But you realize that when it's time to be performing, which is a time where it's high pressure, it's about trust. Trusting that you have put in the work and also realizing that there's no more preparation that you can do in the moment. You just have to do. So that is something that is earned. Trust is like confidence. It's something that you can build, and you build that through following through with your preparation. So I feel like I can trust myself because I see myself put in the work every single day. So I would focus on putting intentional work towards what you want to do so you can build your trust. But once you're in that moment where you feel pressure to perform, to show up, to be the best version of yourself, it's not a bad thing. Pressure is privilege. Pressure builds diamonds. Like literally, diamonds are built from the pressure of like whatever air compression or whatever that is. Pressure is a gift. So when you feel pressure, don't feel like it's a bad thing. Embrace it. And you embrace it by trusting your preparation, trusting who you are. And if ever it doesn't go well, use it as a learning experience. What could you have done better to prepare yourself? It's not that serious. Life is kind of a game, and you just have to learn more about yourself and learn how to do better next time. There's no point of beating yourself up for it. What's something you recently discovered you were wrong about? So my perspectives on life change a lot. If you look at my old YouTube videos, there's a lot of things that I said there that I don't necessarily identify with as much anymore. But that's the beauty of growing. It's having conviction for something, trying it out, and then realizing, okay, wait, maybe this isn't authentic to me. So there was something that became apparent to me recently. When I was on my self-improvement journey, I was looking up to a lot of people that were very successful in business and in their careers, and that's something that I aspire to be. So I would take a lot of my advice from those people. But there's a perspective shift that I had recently through a video that I watched that kind of put light on the fact that those people that I look up to are not necessarily the people that I really truly admire, because most of the times those people are very broken people. They have a lot of unhealed trauma. Those people became obsessive and successful, not because they came from a place of peace, but because they came from a place of having not unconditional love from their parents, from having a lot of bullying as a child, from having a lot of hardship. And a good example of someone that I used to look up to with their mentality that I'm like, wait, this is not actually serving me, is David Goggins. I would be like looking at his mentality as not quitting and as going so hard and taking out the weakness out of myself and not be lazy, whatever. You know David Goggins, right? He's pretty intense. And I used to think like, yeah, I can't have grace for myself. I just need to shut up and do my shit. I'm trying not to swear as much anymore, so sorry about that. But a lot of their unhealed trauma is disguised as ambition. And I realized that is not the type of people I need to look up to, because a lot of times they feel a void that's unhealed with their career, with their job, with their craft. So I was wrong about the fact that to go where you want to go, to have a successful life, you need to just grind, to be obsessive, to neglect your relationships, neglect your moments of peace, neglect all aspects of your humanity to be where you want to go. But I'm realizing, wait, this journey can be so much more successful if I already feel successful now, from having my relationships nurtured, from being healthy, from healing myself. I don't have to become successful in my career and then after that start healing. I can heal first, and that will make me successful now, and that will make me operate from a better place to go where I want to go. And it allows me to trust God more. It allows me to believe in myself more, because I will already be doing the things that the highest version of myself would be doing. But I'm doing this right now before I get all the clout and the accolades and the outward outcomes. So this is a newly thought for myself. I don't know if this was really properly explained. There's still so much more I need to dive into, because it really spoke to me, but I need to look deeper at this. But I'm realizing basically that you don't need to suffer your way through success. You can love your way to it. So that's kind of like the new thing I'm into right now. Now, what's a common piece of advice that you disagree with? This one is very tricky. It's when people say, just be yourself. Just be yourself, right? And I know that that sounds pretty wholesome, because I do believe if you're authentically you, there's nothing to worry about, because you are you, and that's the most beautiful thing you can be. But the thing is, most people have not done the work. And when you say just be yourself, which self are we talking about? Are we talking about the self that was shaped by bad habits, by fear, or the self that you are called to become? A lot of people are not aware of the person that they are right now is not really who they are. It's just a version of themselves that are imprinted from the internet, from their friends, from bad influences. A lot of people really don't know who they are. So when people say just be yourself, it sounds like bad advice to me, because you need to kind of question a little bit deeper first. Who are you really? Who do you want to be as well? I hope this makes you think a little bit. What's a skill you learned that became unexpectedly useful? So in high school, I used to go to middle school and do a lot of public speaking. So maybe you wonder why I'm pretty decent at speaking right now, which I don't think I'm that good. I think I can be so much better. But I understand that I do have a more natural ability to do it, but it's a skill that I have built when I was younger. So in high school, I would go to middle schools and give conferences to people in their gyms and stuff like that, because I wanted to promote physical activity and how good it was to move your body so it can shape your habits, your mind, and your discipline for what you want in life. So it's so funny because I kind of feel like I'm doing the same thing today. And when I saw this question, I was like, wow, I really have been doing this for a while. Like I was kind of called upon coming on YouTube and doing this type of work because I've been doing it for a long time. So yeah, doing that public speaking, getting out of my comfort zone. And that was a message I would say as well when I was in high school to those middle schoolers, but are all things that I have done for a while that I didn't realize would help me today. I'm so glad I did it. I don't know what made me do it, but public speaking is probably a skill that I want to keep building. What's the biggest lesson you've learned this year? So the year is not over yet, but it's about to be pretty soon, which is crazy. So the biggest lesson I've learned so far is to always stay humble. Okay, I'm not talking about don't be confident in yourself, but what I'm saying is that you have no idea what can happen in life because life is so chaotic. Life is so unpredictable. For example, I didn't know I was going to be in Utah this year. I had no idea this was going to happen and happen in a span of a day where I was from one place and then I found out I had to move and go across the country. But the lesson that I've learned to stay humble is not something that I have gone through in my personal life recently, but it's from a friend. A friend of mine is going through really, really hard times where her whole belief system is getting shattered because she had never predicted her life to turn out the way it had right now. And I never thought that that would happen either. Like, I'm also surprised. And the reason why I'm telling you this is you don't have to go through hardship yourself to learn lessons. You can listen empathetically, and just by being a good friend, you can learn from other people. You don't have to go through the mistakes yourself. Learn from my mistakes. You know, when you watch my YouTube channel and you learn through things I go through in life, try to apply the advice I say because you're going to save yourself from so much pain if you get to learn from other people. Do that. It's like when you're studying a business, learn from other business people and the mistakes they've done so you don't repeat the same mistake and learn the same thing they did. You know, you can save yourself a lot of suffering. So a lot of what she's going through, I'm trying to like really give me a perspective that you need to stay humble because life can throw you so many curveballs. But the thing that I also realize is that, yes, you can't control everything, you can predict everything, but that's what makes life so beautiful. If you knew exactly what was going to happen from now until you died, what's the fun in that? There's no surprise. There's no unexpected opportunities. You don't want to know everything. Like, that kind of sucks. It's kind of like if you're watching a movie and you would know all the plot from beginning to end. It's never as fun as if you don't know what this is going to unfold as. So embrace the unpredictability, but just stay humble. Just know that anything can happen anytime and expect the unexpected. How do you cultivate the mindset required to reach your goals? The first thing you have to understand is that what stands between you and your goals are not people or not opportunities outside of you or outside of your control. It's you. It's how you think and how you behave. So the thing that you need to do is you need to start journaling. You need to start writing down what's going on in here because this is what's holding you back. Your thoughts dictate your behavior, but you need to be very aware of what you're thinking about so you can change the way that you act. So you need to study yourself. You need to analyze how you're thinking. And then also be aware of how you're acting currently that's not helping you. So a lot of what you consume influences how you think. So be aware. What do you do on a daily basis? What social media do you consume? What people are you surrounding yourself with? What types of food or drinks do you consume that's impacting how you think about yourself? When you journal, you're able to get all the mess that's going on in your head and kind of like look at yourself as something that you can solve. And I'm not saying that you are a problem to solve, but what I'm saying is that there is something you can do about your life situation. And it's so much easier if you just sit with yourself and write it out, okay? Journaling, there's no way to do it. Like, there's no perfect way to go about it. It's really just being honest with yourself. You don't have to follow a specific script or a specific way to go about it. You just have to think about how you're feeling right now and what's coming in the way of your goals. And then that's how you cultivate the mindset that you want, because then you can change the way that you think. You realize, okay, I've been thinking this way, but that's not serving me. I need to let go of that. Don't feel guilty about the way that you've been thinking. Just acknowledge the reality, and then choose what are these manual thoughts that you want to have instead? What are these affirmations that you want to say? What are the ways that you want to think about yourself? So yeah, if there's any like habit that I feel like is so crucial to your self-development, it is journaling. What's one decision that's completely changed your life? The biggest decision that I've probably made was when I was 13 years old, I decided to leave my home to go in a host family. So as I mentioned earlier, I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and the people that I grow up there, they don't leave that place. But I had this opportunity to leave my house and go in a host family so I could be in this soccer academy, and it required me to move schools and just not live with my family anymore. It's not an easy decision to do at 13 years old, but there's a part of me that just knew that if I didn't take this opportunity, I would regret it. So I made that decision, and it's completely changed my life because look at where I am today. I don't think I would be where I am today if I wouldn't have made that decision. And that act of courage, doing that this young, propelled me to keep making those types of decisions as I grow older because I can see the opportunities that it gives me when I take those risks. But you still have to listen to yourself. No one forced me to leave. I did it because my heart was compelling myself to do it. Your intuition knows everything, okay? You need to learn how to trust your intuition. You need to learn how to listen to yourself deeply. And I think we lose that when we grow older because so much more fears and expectations and other influences are happening on us that makes us not trust ourselves anymore. But if you remove the noise, you'll realize you always have the answers inside of you. You know what to do. You know what to give up. You know what to add. You know what to take away. You know where to spend your time. You know what to prioritize. You know all these things, but you have to learn to listen to yourself and trust yourself again. And you have to do that by doing acts of courage, by stepping out of your comfort zone, by doing things differently. Because if you want to change your life, you can't do the same thing that you've always been doing. You need to do things differently, okay? That's the mantra in my community. If you want to be built different, you got to do different. So this is something I've done my whole life. That's why I think it speaks to so many people, because when I talk about it, people know it's real. People know I live by that. So it's so easy for me to have people get into this movement because it works. So act boldly. I'm with you with that. Now, I hope you're enjoying this. I know this is a long video because I've been filming for a while. But if you're enjoying it, please let me know in the comments, because if this is not doing so well and if it's not useful, I'm not going to do this again, okay? So give me a little bit of feedback. I need to know if this is like way too long or if this is actually helpful. Now let's step into the third section about habits and motivation, which is probably something that you're really into if you're in self-improvement. What are your daily non-negotiables that led you to success? So sometimes we think about adding things all the time, but I think what really made me become successful, maybe in your eyes, I still feel like I have a long way to go, but what's brought me to where I am today, it's not about what I did, it's about what I didn't do. So when I was in college, I decided I wasn't going to be a party girl. I wasn't going to party like everybody else. I wasn't going to socialize and spend my time and energy with people that weren't supporting my long-term vision. It's about sacrificing the little things. So it doesn't really matter what I did. Like, yeah, I can tell you I hydrate, I have my protein goal count, I make my bed. I can tell you those little things that do help. But what really makes a big difference, it's what you decide to not do. It's deciding not to watch TV. It's deciding not to eat the junk food, you know? And when you have those rules for yourself, it kind of only gives you the space to do the healthy things, the things that you actually care about, the things that actually support and nurture a higher version of yourself. What's a habit you once struggled with, but now can't live without? So recently, this is something that you know if you've participated in my challenge, is I stopped making my bed a while ago. I moved from apartment to another one, and the new one I'm in doesn't have windows in there. So it's kind of like hidden, my bedroom. And I had a lizard brain excuse to not make my bed because I'm like, no one's going to see it. I never see it because I never pass by that room unless I go back to bed. So I kind of just got lazy, and it made me so depressed that whole period of my life. So now when I did the challenge, so what I'm talking about is I host self-improvement challenges. And in one of the challenges, one of the habits was making your bed every day. And I did that for myself and I realized, oh my God, I cannot live without that anymore. What was my brain rot that was telling me that I don't need to make my bed? Like, making my bed is such a good win to start the day, and it feels so good for some reason. And there's another habit that's very similar to this one, and it's doing a kitchen cleanup every single night. So when I go to bed, I make sure that my kitchen is clean. My kitchen has nothing in the sink. Everything's wiped down. Everything's organized, because that sets the tone for the next day. That kind of completes my day. So it's the way you start the day and the way that you end the day. And that was a result of one of the challenges that I've made. And if you're interested in that, it's in the same community of the first link in my description. There's a new challenge that's going to come up really soon. I'm really excited to announce it, but no one really knows about it yet. So stay tuned about that. But those challenges work because they really do create habits and they really do change your life. So what do you do to stay motivated when progress feels slow? That's also a great question. So a good example is this YouTube channel. Growth feels very slow on my YouTube channel. But how do I still stay motivated to keep working on it even though I'm not really getting results? I ask myself a series of questions. Number one, is this plan still the plan? Like, I have a plan right now that I'm posting consistently every 3 days. That's my goal. And it's time to revisit when there's no progress. Is this still a good plan? For now, yes. I still think it's a good plan. I'm still trusting that maybe it's slow, but the results will come when it's going to come. The second thing I remind myself is that big results take time. So what I'm doing right now is not something that is supposed to give me a quick win. It's not like making your bed, This is something I'm aiming that's pretty big for this channel. So I'm not expecting to get results right away. So I still stay motivated because I realize that progress is supposed to be slow and that big results take time. The third thing I ask myself is, am I enjoying this process? Because my mantra is, the journey is the destination. The journey is what matters. The journey of going to where you want to go is basically your life. So I want to be enjoying it. Am I enjoying filming my YouTube videos? I am, to some extent. Sometimes it's really hard, but I am loving this whole introspection and connecting with you. So it feels fun and aligned. So that means, okay, I'm going to keep going even though progress is slow. And then finally, this is a good one. It's find new ways to stay inspired. So yeah, maybe progress is slow, but I stay motivated because I start learning about something new. I try different things. I get out of my comfort zone, and that kind of gives me new ideas. It kind of gives me a new spark. So when things are kind of getting mundane, you might sometimes need something new to kind of start thinking more creatively. So if you follow this series of 4 things right now, I think you can always remain motivated towards your goals, even though you're not really seeing progress yet. That's the big word difference, yet. Now, the last section here is about community and purpose. So this is all about my school community. What have you learned from building your community, and how would you change it? I like this question a lot because I want to dive deeper into the community. What I learned is that to really make an impact on people, it's not that complicated. You just need to genuinely care. When I started making it all about strategy and business and how to get more people engaged and overthink it, I realized I'm stepping away of what actually matters. What matters is the interactions and genuinely caring about the people there. Because when you care, think about anything you've cared for in your life. When you genuinely care and you put your focus on that, you have like a superpower. You can problem solve. You can literally do anything. It's not just about posting content or running challenges. It's about seeing every single person as valuable, seeing every single person as me. Like, I'm trying to help the same person as me. And I can't lose sight of the individuals because everyone in the community matters. So this is what I've learned from building the community. But how I would change it, it would probably be to find ways to have more leaders within the community. Because right now I'm kind of like at the top because I'm the creator and I have everyone like underneath. But I want it to be where the people that have made so much progress, that have so many valuable insights, to become more leaders within the community. I would like to have people that have more agency and responsibility within the community. So I already have a list of people in my mind that would fit the role perfectly. And it's something that I'm dabbling with, I'm working on, I'm journaling about. I'm trying to figure out how I can incorporate that. So if that speaks to you, it's probably you, okay? Do you think smaller or larger audiences are more powerful? So I don't think power comes from audience size at all. It comes from connection. I'd rather have 10 people that genuinely are fully invested and transformed than 1,000 people who are half paying attention. I value depth over width. So I don't really care about audience size. I just care that people are loyal, that are authentic, that really care for each other, that are very real. So I don't ever really think about numbers. And yes, we are growing, but it doesn't mean anything if we're growing if people are not genuinely invested. So yeah, I obviously like the most powerful would be a big audience that all care, but that will take a lot of time. And I don't expect that to be my case right now. So all I'm focusing on is having a really good, tight-knit, smaller audience so that we can really invest into each other properly and we can grow at a healthier pace. Where do you envision the future of this community? So I see this community to keep growing through challenges. I really think we've only scratched the surface, but long term, I would love to build a private community for the people that are very serious about their transformation. Because right now, because it's free, I'm going to get a lot of spam and scammers and people that aren't really fully invested, and they kind of like distract other people because they're not really there for the right reasons. So I would like to have a private community that has deeper connections, that have more support and direct access to me. So if that's something that's interesting to you, like those are things that I need to know because I'm thinking about it, but I don't know if people are ready for it. But deep down, I feel like people would love that because some people are really serious there. Like they really care for each other. And it's kind of annoying to have those people that are just scamming or spamming us. Like, and I feel bad because I don't want to like just ban people all the time, but I can tell that they're not aligned with us. So it's just kind of what comes with a free community. You'll have like a wider range of people, but I would like to have a more specific private community that's more dedicated for their personal transformation. Now, last question here is, what's your favorite topic to speak about or make videos about? And that has changed a lot throughout my channel. Like I've had tons of different topics, so it's kind of hard, but I would say generally what I love to talk about the most are usually mindsets, like psychology and philosophy, all about things in your mind that when you learn, it just clicks. I love aha moments. Like when you read something and things kind of just like make you alert because you're like, wait, this is important. This can actually change things. It's kind of like a good quote. It's kind of like watching podcasts and your mind is like shifting. You're seeing life differently. So I love everything that's about the mind. Fun fact, a few years ago when I was outside of college, I went to college in pre-med and I thought I was going to go to medical school, but then I became a pro athlete and whatever. But my goal was to go to med school because I wanted to be a psychiatrist. I wanted to really dive into the neuroscience and really understand how the brain functions. And I thought it was fascinating, but life brought me to where I am right now. It's okay. I can still talk about these things and still be interested in that. But I realized like a lot of people really do resonate with mindsets. And one of the things I want to do is when I have my newsletter sent out, which is the second link in my description, I want to make it more around mindsets. I want to make it more about those aha moments that you can just read through the newsletter and be like, okay, wait, this really sets my brain up for the day. This really sets myself for success today because it just kind of puts an intention. So the way that you think really determines the quality of your life. And I feel like I can make an impact by challenging people's beliefs. So this is what I love the most. Now, this video was super long and I'm so scared to post this because I don't think these videos do really well, but I owe this to you. I did say I would do a Q&A and I did say ask me anything, and I didn't want to leave questions out. And I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. I try to answer the most popular ones. So thank you so much for listening. If there's anything that you would like to tell me that would help me along my journey, I love feedback. So please let me know. And I really hope you stick around. and that we can be friends. I hope this was a genuine connection that we created together, and I hope that you want to keep growing with me. So again, thank you. I love you so much, and I will see you very soon in a new video. Mwah.